Hey guys, Spirit of the Law here. Today's video is about some unconventional, outside-the-box strategies. The first one we're going to talk about is putting your opponent in a box. We'll have more on that one as well as 7 others. But first, I have a very special announcement. I hit a milestone yesterday and officially have 1 subscriber.
A wise choice.
Thank you, mysterious stranger, and this episode is dedicated to you.
Start the game already!
Now this is a strategy you don't often see online, but it can be incredibly effective if it's done properly.
Being
It's
rushed.
best done in the Dark Age once you have a bit of an economy going and you have enough supply of wood to keep up the walls.
Wood, please.
The Mayans are an obvious choice because of their cheaper walls, but really this can be done with any civilization. Once you have the first layer of walls up, add another one. Feel free to keep on adding layers to the wall.
A splendid sight.
When you're happy with the thickness of the walls, start building towers. This will keep the pressure on.
Your watchtower will fire on enemy
When you're
units.
building the wall, remember that the point isn't to completely deny your opponent all of their resources. It's to keep them trapped. They'll start running out of space and they won't have anywhere to expand to.
Quit touching me!
A perfect scenario would involve trapping all of their units inside of it. To prepare for this rush, you're going to want to go heavy into food and wood at the beginning like normal, but instead of getting gold, you're going to start getting stone. Don't worry about gold. When you get up to Castle Age, build some rams and mangonels. That'll finish things off pretty quickly.
This village will be causing us no more grief.
If someone uses this kind of rush against you, the best defense is to build your own towers. Don't worry about trying to build military to attack them back. They're already way behind you because of this forward. The next on our list is the Saracen monk rush, also called the Smush.
No, a Saracen ambush.
The reason that people choose the Saracens isn't because their monks are any better, it's because their market is really good. The point is to sell your stone as soon as you make it into feudal, and the Saracens get more gold back for their stone than any other civilization. The earlier you can advance to Castle Age and get monks, the more effective this strategy. I was probably way too late in this example for this to be effective online.
Monk! I need a monk!
You're going to want a few extra villagers in the Dark Age, maybe 25, so that you can get a faster castle time.
Create extra villages.
You should basically spend no time in the feudal age. The monks can be used to either steal villagers or your opponent's military. If they have knights, all the better.
It is good!
You'll probably want to save up a few monks before you show your hand.
Enemy sighted.
Once you research redemption, you can even start stealing their buildings.
Nice town. I'll take it.
Again, this probably won't finish them off on its own. You'll have to combine it with some other units. The best counter to this strategy is to use scout cavalry. Next is the mass Petard shock. This involves having a large number of petards and basically throwing them into your opponent's base.
We will send in saboteurs to open that
This
wall.
strategy can be deadly if they're not expecting it. In the Forgotten Empire's expansion, the cost of petard has also been reduced. This is probably because no one was using it at the original cost. It can even be used in a pinch against large groups of units. If someone's using this strategy against you, counter with archers.
Wait, you might have need of a few archers on the road ahead.
That is, if you still have some archery ranges left.
Ground rumbles as if alive.
Number 4 on our list is one of my favorite, and it's the mass trebuchet. Throwing some halberdiers in there is probably a good idea as well. This strategy works especially well with the Japanese, who have the best halberdiers and trebuchets in the game.
Don't point that thing at me!
If directed manually, the trebuchets can also be used against enemy units and do 200 damage per shot. The trebuchets are a little bit better at raiding than most people think.
Long time, no siege.
A group of trebuchets in somebody's base can probably take down all of the buildings faster than an army of Tarkans. Buildings that cost stone should be your first target, like castles and town centers. If this strategy is used against you, Onagers are a nice counter and can take out many of the trebuchets in only a few shots.
We need a mangonel.
Speaking of Onagers, if you have a few left over, there's another kind of sneaky strategy you can do, and that's to destroy their woodlines. I'm speaking of course for the Forgotten Empire's expansion. In regular AoE 2 HD, Onagers don't destroy trees. You need siege Onagers for that.
If only we had a way to knock down those
If you're
trees.
using this strategy, remember that you're trying to be secretive about it. You don't want to attack their units, you just want to take out the trees on their side of the map. Wood is very important for gathering other resources and for making units in the late game, and if they run out, it's game over.
You played 2 hours to die like
This can also be hard to counter, and basically you just need map control so that you can see it's happening. There's not much you can do after the fact.
The lumber is hard to combine these parts.
Heroes don't use this strategy, but remember, history is written by the victor. Number 6 on our list is also ideally suited to the Japanese. They're just so underrated.
Yes.
Be sure to check out my video on how underrated the Japanese are after this.
Yes.
The strategy we're talking about, though, is the forward castle and tower rush. The reason this is extra effective with the Japanese is their towers fire more arrows.
Being rushed.
You'll want to strategically position your towers so they're covering your opponent's resources.
I do not like the looks of
A
this.
feudal age tower rush is also effective, but it's too common to be considered outside the box. This strategy is going to work particularly well for players who like to boom their economy a lot. You're going to need a lot of villagers in the front in order to build these, and you're going to need a lot of villagers back home to gather the stone that you need. Like most of these, it's a lot harder to pull this off against real people online than it was for me against the computer in these videos. Number 7 is probably the most unconventional yet. This is where you pretend you've left the chat on and reveal sensitive information that's actually misleading.
What is this? Treachery!
You'll want to set this up by being extra friendly and chatty in the lobby before the game. Just act like a really happy person having a good time. Once you're in the game, make sure you set the chat to all and wish everybody good luck and to have fun. After that, begin to talk to your teammate as if you're strategizing and say, hey, I'm advancing in 15 minutes and I'll probably go with a night attack.
Wait for my
You have to be a little bit clever about this and not make it super obvious.
Don't forget.
If you want to talk to just your teammate for real, you just press the colon button first and then type your message.
Might I have a word with you in
Obviously,
private,
if you say you're going to attack with knights, the one thing you're not going to do is attack with knights.
No.
Use the fact that they think they know what you're planning against them. If you say you're going to build knights, they're probably going to build a bunch of spears, just in case. So instead of building knights, you're probably going to build archers. See what I'm saying? The best counter to this strategy is to be a nice person and let your opponent know when they've left the chat on. If you call them out for leaving the chat on all and they keep doing it, then they're obviously doing something like this. The last unconventional strategy I'm going to talk about is probably the most risky, and that's the Restless TC Syndrome. The grass is always greener on the other side, right? Well, you're about to test it and find out. You'll want to start your game like normal and have a lot of villagers on food and wood. Don't waste time doing too much scouting around your base. After you've done your quick scout and you found your sheet, head straight over and locate your enemy's town center.
The new world!
When you know where it is, take a group of your finest villagers and go build a town center right beside theirs.
What are you doing so close to the city?
You're gonna have to delete yours at some point, but don't do that until the last possible second. Keep building villagers back home and putting them on food and wood. The Persians are the best civilization for this because their town centers have double HP. The Teutons might also be a good choice. It's up to you whether you want to put your town center directly in range of theirs, which I recommend,
Being rushed.
or if you want to just plant it on their resources. Either way, you're going to have some villagers back home gathering from your resources,
Home sweet home.
and you'll also be gathering from their resources now. The reason I call this a risky strategy is because it takes a huge investment. Not only did you walk your villagers to the other side of the map, and also deleted your town center to build a new one, but all of your villagers back home are completely defenseless now. What you're hoping to do is provoke your opponent into trying to destroy that town center now.
Launch a counterattack!
If they feel threatened by it, they might try to build up a Dark Age military and try to attack your town center in some crazy attack.
What age are you in?
The best counter they can do is to just ignore it and keep playing.
Smite me.
Bear in mind that the person doing this will also probably have a very slow feudal time. You can use that to your advantage and just go kill their villagers back home with a feudal army.
But wait. What is this that approaches?
Even using this on the computer at a pretty easy difficulty, it still didn't lose as soon as I built my town center up. When I destroyed it, it just rebuilt it somewhere else, and that's the perfect response. I even had to resort to trying to wall it in as well. Never be afraid to mix and match strategies. So thanks for watching, everybody. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Unfortunately, you can no longer be the first subscriber. Sorry, somebody beat you to it. Our next topic is going to be the weird logic of AoE 2. We'll answer philosophical questions like, why does hitting a building with a knife make it catch on fire? As well as some other interesting ones. Stay tuned for that. Till next time.